this is Mother Goose Knits podcast. I'm a mom of 3 from Buffalo, New York, and this is my little space where I talk about knitting, quilting, maybe crochet, maybe spinning in the future, sewing, and just any kind of crafty thing I like doing. Mostly it's going to be knitting. I'm also a vegan knitter, so I do a lot of yarn substitutions and hopefully some more plant-based yarns in the future. Also recycled, upcycled yarns, things like that. So my first finished object for January, well actually it wasn't January, I finished this in December, is this, the Blizzard sweater by Jessica McDonald. I wanted to make a companion sweater to my son's little Skift sweater that I made him. I was gonna put this on him and show it, but he's sleeping right now. But yeah, this was finished during the huge blizzard we had over Christmas, and we were able to wear our matching sweaters on Christmas morning and Christmas Eve, which is nice. And I'm really happy with this pattern, and the color work was really fun. It was really easy. You didn't have to do any carryovers that were more than 3 stitches long, so you could just go with it. It went really fast. I started this before I had my son while I was still pregnant, and I ended up having to rip the whole thing out because it was just too big. The gauge was just slightly off and it was huge, and I find because it's a circular yoke, I found that it just looked like a really weird lumpy parachute when it was too big, and it really needed to be 0 ease for it to look nice on me. I don't know if that's something that happens with all circular yokes, but I found that that's what happens. I've had a couple sweaters that ended up too big and were circular yokes and just like looked really funky. Anyway, this overall is a really nice pattern. I ended up having to move the last band of color work down underneath the sleeve separation just because the gauge was a bit different with this. Yeah, as for yarn substitutions, I always just do the math, like just to be sure, because I'm always substituting yarn. I just count how many, inches I want it to be, and then do all the math for the gauge swatch, and I'll knit a different size, sometimes a different needle, but mostly I'll just knit a different size, and then I pay attention to the lengths to make sure that I don't end up with something like this where I have to put color work underneath the arms, because you don't want the arms to be too roomy up here, because then it just feels weird. Yeah, anyway, I hope that makes sense. But this was my first finished sweater, which was December. Second one I finished was finally Halibut. I had to cut off the collar for this one because it was a top-down sweater, but I knit the collar in the main needle size instead of the ribbing size, and also it was just too big. It was just too big, so I cut it off and I picked up stitches and I re-knit it into a turtleneck here. So I had originally done a crew neck, but I decided I wanted a turtleneck just to make it feel more stable. I really like the feeling of a sweater that has a collar that's been picked up and knit up as opposed to completely top down. I just sometimes feel a little bit like the collars can feel stretchy or a little wonky. This one feels fine, but I really like how stable this feels when you pick up the stitches. Anyway, this sweater had been in the works for a long time as well. I just had to keep going back and fixing things, which is fine. It was totally worth it. It's probably my favorite sweater so far that I've ever knit ever. I just love the pattern. It's so cool. It reminds me of Alaska, which I know. This is Caitlin Hunter, by the way. Boyland Knitworks. I know she lives in She lives in the town that I took the ferry from. And I don't remember what it's called. Doesn't matter. I don't know why I brought that up. All right, finished object number 3. This one I did finish in January, and it's the Cargill Junior. And this is a child size. I think I did a size 8. And I used Karen Cloud Cakes for this, which is, I think it's 100% polyester. It's very, very soft and squishy yarn. I've already made her a sweater with this, but I had a ton of the yarn left. It was on clearance. I think it was for an anniversary, like the Karen Yarn brand anniversary. So they had these really, really soft cloud cakes, but they are not made anymore. So I just picked up all the purple or the violet color. And it has this really fun puff stitch, this ribbed puff stitch. And yeah, I think it's really cute. This one fit her pretty well. I think that I made the sleeves a bit too short. No matter what I did, I kept measuring, and they look even here, but when she puts it on, the sleeves are a little bit uneven. She doesn't care though. This one, I think I'm more of a color work knitter as opposed to the fancy stitch knitter. You know, people who do like lace and different things with just one color of yarn. Because I got really tired of doing this stitch pattern. It was really easy. It wasn't difficult, and it went by fairly fast once I got through the body, but for some reason, the sleeves killed me. It took me forever to get the sleeves done. I ended up just doing like a couple of inches per day on one sleeve. The sleeves took me probably longer than the entire body. But it's done, and it's very cute. I don't think the gauge was much different from the original pattern. I didn't even do a gauge swatch actually at all, and it turned out just fine. Of course, with kids' clothes, you can really get away with it being a little too big because they grow into it. So I don't know if this was on gauge or off gauge, or it worked out though. So I'm happy about that. All right, last finished object for January is the January hat. And I believe this was, let me see, Kelbourne Woolens. These are free patterns. It's in the year of hats. I think this series came out a while ago, probably 2021. So I'm late to the party with this, but I thought it would be fun to just do some hats. I don't knit a lot of hats. This is with Yarn Bee Rustic Romantic. It's acrylic and hemp. So the little rustic kind of white speckles in here, that's hemp. And I actually really like this, even though it's mostly acrylic. I definitely want to use this yarn again. It's not like super soft or anything, but I like the way it looks. Definitely looks rustic. And this pattern was fun. I messed up the bobbles here. So there's this crisscross cable, and there's bobbles here, and then a seed stitch here. And I added too many bobbles too quickly here. So it's a little wonky, but who cares? I also got a pom-pom maker. So I've got 4 different sizes of pom-poms I can make for hats now, which is really nice. You definitely want a pom-pom maker if you plan on making hats. And I plan on doing the entire year of hats. I actually have in my bullet journal here, year of hats. I have a little sketch for each hat, and I'm gonna fill in with the color as I finish. So this one was gray, so I did gray. And my next hat, the February hat, which I have not started yet, I'm going to be using a stash yarn that is Barocco Lustra. This is not a vegan yarn. This has been in my stash for more than 10 years. So I'm just gonna use it. I'm gonna use it. This one, I don't even know if they sell this particular yarn anymore. It's 50% Peruvian wool and 50% Tencel lyocell. Yeah, this has been in my stash for more than 10 years. So I'm not gonna get rid of a yarn just because it has animal products in it. I'm gonna use it. Speaking of animal products and yarn, I didn't show these last time, but I talked about them. Part of my acquisitions from last time was this Woody Tweed by Hobie. And this is recycled wool, 100% recycled fibers, and it's wool, and this is 70% recycled wool, 30% recycled viscose. And this is tweed, so it's got just nice speckles in there. And then this one, this was supposed to be a dark brown, but it really looks black. So I'll probably use that as a black color. It really doesn't look like dark brown at all, which is unfortunate. I should have got the light brown. I probably should have bought more of these. I got these on a Black Friday sale, and so they were probably $4 each, and I think they normally go for about 11. So I bought 10 balls. So I put just these two colors. So I bought a sweater quantity of each color. I kind of wish I had gotten the lighter brown color, but we'll see. All right, another acquisition. So Joann's was having a sale. Even though I don't need any more yarn, I ended up picking up Jiffy. This is, ooh, I have to hide my face. This is a giant ball of yarn. I guess, yeah, this is a bulky weight Lion brand. And they give you 681 yards, 623 meters. So this is like a huge ball, and I got 2 of these for $20. And I liked this green, and yeah, it's 100% acrylic, but it's pretty soft, and I don't know, it was so cheap, and I really liked the color. I liked all the colors actually. And I thought that I might want to knit up a Wednesday sweater with this. Speaking of Wednesday sweaters, I forgot whips. Why am I always going out of order? I go out of order all the time. I did that last time. So my big whip for right now that I'm working on is the Wednesday sweater by Petite Knit. And it is a bulky weight drop shoulder, which I have not done a drop shoulder yet. And it is here so far. This yarn is Huga by Red Heart. I normally, you know, don't pick up Red Heart, but I was intrigued by this one. It looked nice. It had some nice kind of sophisticated looking colors. This is a purple. What's it called? It's bulky weight in the color Sterling. So this is kind of a dusty purple color. You know, I was watching Well Loved Knits, and she was talking about doing a big cozy purple sweater, and after that I saw several other podcasters talk about doing a purple sweater inspired by her idea, and so I think that's probably why I picked this color. A little inspirational purple sweater. And only problem here is you can definitely see a very very distinct difference between my back and forth and my in the round knitting. So I think next time I'll either start off with a smaller needle and then move to the normal size needle, or start off with the normal size needle and then use a bigger needle when I go in the round. Because it's actually like really noticeable. I don't care that much, but you know, for next time I'll change it. And it's got this fun twisted rib, super cozy turtleneck. Then on the bottom, it's got this sort of split ribbed end here. So that's gonna be fun. I'm going to knit a Wednesday sweater up again with this Jiffy, at least that's the plan. So I'll have a green one and a purple one. All right, here he is. He has awakened, little Joey. Got our matching sweaters on. Anyways, okay, so where was I? Whips, okay. I finally cast on Winterwoods by Petite Knit, not Petite Knit, the Petite Knitter. I've been wanting to cast on Winterwoods for a while. Here it is, sort of see it. I couldn't find the right yarn. At first I purchased a recycled polyester, the Respun by Lion Brand, because I wanted to see how that was. It got a lot of good reviews. I just didn't like it. I felt like it wasn't too scratchy. It just was too light. You know, it didn't feel substantial. It just felt cheap. So I ended up getting the Yarn Bee Warm and Cozy instead. I'm sorry, I don't like supporting Hobby Lobby, but their yarns are really nice. So this is the chestnut. Oh, sorry. This is the charcoal, which, oh, there we go. That's the charcoal. I had to purchase the charcoal off of Etsy. I don't think they sell that colorway anymore. The only reason I didn't use this yarn in the first place was because there wasn't a dark enough contrast color. I really wanted a dark or gray color for the collar, and then a brown and a kind of a neutral. And this is the, oh, sorry, there we go. That was the oat color. It's not a lot of contrast. That's just the very, very beginning of it. And the oat is a little bit grayer than I wanted, but whatever. It'll be nice. See, now I'm all scattered because I got 2 kids. Did you have a good nap? Gosh, okay, I forgot to say this last time. In August, actually, I found a spinning wheel, a vintage spinning wheel on Facebook Marketplace for a good price, so I went ahead and just bought it. I've never spun before. I had always wanted to spin. I used to have a drop spindle like many, many years ago when I first started knitting, but I wasn't good at that. I was not good at the drop spindle at all. And I ended up selling it. And then one day it dawned on me, like, I don't need to spin with wool. I can spin with plant fibers. And so I found a flax wheel. You can spin anything on the flax wheel, really, but besides art yarn, maybe. I ended up purchasing some nylon, or it was faux cashmere, to just start off with because it was the least expensive, and it had reviews where it said that it was really easy to spin. So I'm going to give that a shot. I did try a few times and it was pretty much a disaster. And now my spinning wheel is sort of packed away in my sewing room and I can't get it yet. But once everything is set up, I'm really excited to try it. Well, anyway, okay, I've been cut off. Thank you for watching. Bye.